This episode of Poetic Properties with Kamplexx is brought to you by Infinitely Complex Production and sponsorship with Peacefully Flawed Apparel, where we believe that no matter the darkness, we have the opportunity and ability to get to the light. Thank you for tuning in to the Poetic Property Podcast. I am your host, Kamplexx, the poet, father, author, and entrepreneur. We gonna get straight into it. This week was double ass, like from work, physical, mental, like everything that could have went wrong energy wise did. Everything that could have annoyed me at work, it did. Everything that could have annoyed me like in regular life, it did. And yeah, it I didn't even know how to maneuver through it. My body was hurting. I started therapy myself with my TENS unit because I have a nerve disorder and a muscle disease. It's so much. I don't even know where to start on that. But it just hit me like every time that you get going, you hit with negative, right? And I'm a person who I really try to not focus on the negative, like understand it for what it is, and kind of keep pushing. But like this week, like it hit me like, all right, bro, you're like your force field is fully broken. So like everything is bothering me, and not bothering me to the effect of like lashing out or anything like that. But it's just it's creating a newer protection, right? It's a new a next grade level of protection, because the transition that I'm in right now, for whatever reason, I feel like, you know, me for whatever reason, me being close to 40, it's changing me in a way that like it's kind of difficult for me to explain. My tolerance is way different. The way I understand and the way that I want to lead the rest of my life, like I see things different. My patience it has always been thin, but it's like it's tissue paper thin now on a lot of stuff. A lot of things that I see just in the day to day of life, it just it hit me, right? And I typically try to stay in my own spaces, because like I said, you know, you mess up getting in places you don't belong in. So I was confused, like, why is this getting on my nerves, like to a point to where it's like affecting me mentally, right? And I just feel like because you see certain things so much and you hear certain things so often that as a human being, like it just gets to you. There, like nobody is strong enough to withstand all the attacks that comes against us every day, all day, you know, for our entire life. And you have these moments where, like I told you, I had the moment last week that I had to understand that I had to let the dam break. And in understanding that, I have to be able to deal with what comes after that, right? I've been holding things in, and I've been like being nonchalant, and I've been keeping peace within myself about certain things. And when you are in order for you to elevate or escalate to the next level, like there's a sense of renewing that has to happen. So it's like at this point, the cocoon that I was living in, and I was, you know, cultivating, and it became peaceful and comforting and safe, it broke because it had to, right? It had to break in order to produce whatever it is that is my next obstacle, whatever it is the next chapter of what I'm doing with who I am, with my parenting, with relationships or lack thereof, with friendships or lack thereof, with business opportunities or lack thereof, right? But the peace that you have sometimes is within chaotic moments and chaotic experiences. And in fact, it is not peace at all. I think I said it on the treading water episode, where you get to a point to where you understand the chaos, you understand, how the world operates, how people operate around you, and you just, instead of creating waves, you stand still and you inherit whatever it is. You protect your energy the best way you can, but at some point, like I said, you gonna get caught. It's gonna be a small kink in your armor. It's gonna be a little bit of weakness somewhere that allows something to seep in, and then boom, now you got to start dealing with stuff. Now you have to start like understanding it's not so much of blocking stuff out. And I think after last week, that's where I'm at now. I tell you guys all the time, like the goal is to, like, when the emotion of something hits, allow it. Allow it to be what it is. Allow it to hurt. Allow it to make you cry. Allow it to stress you. If depression comes with it, just allow it, and learn. Right. Figure out why that still hurts. Figure out why that still bothers you, or if it does bother you, and just work through it. They also said that sometimes you'll get bombarded with things and you're unable to do that. It's not an easy thing to deal with feelings as they come, especially while you're dealing with real life. And that's what happened to me this weekend. It's just an overflow. It's just an overflow of chaotic emotions. It's an overflow of having to understand how people are. It's an overflow of having to understand like corporate America to a different level, and on top of all that, still deal with the mental stuff that's going on, right? And so, like, the mental stuff created headaches. I've been exercising because I have to exercise. I guess the weirdest thing, I have to exercise, right? Because I have something called polymyositis, right? And so it's an issue with your muscles, so autoimmune thing. So with that, in order to feel better, like, I have to strengthen my muscles, right? But I also have a heart disease, which, of course, I can't really be going crazy while I'm working out. So on top of that, even though like the working out, it fulfills my bruise kink, it still hurts, right? So I can take a certain amount of that bruising feeling, and it be okay. But then it gets to a point where it's like, all right, like, it takes me out. I have to lay down. I can't really do anything, right? My body hurts. My nerves and my hip is really bad. After, like, cause I've been riding my stationary bike. I've been lifting weights, doing my jump. Like, I've been really trying to just get into a safe enough position so I'll feel okay on the physical side, and it's working. It's just the aftermath. So that recovery time from me working out, right, and then me kind of being comfortable again, it's longer than a normal person because of the ailments that I have to deal with. But there's going to be a certain point as I'm riding the bike, as I'm doing the jumping jacks, as I'm slowly, introducing weights back into my exercise and stuff like that. There's going to be a point to where I'm strong enough, and the pain won't be as bad, right? So that's why I continue to attempt to just do exercises the best that I can until a doctor tells me, like, nah, you killed it, so you have to rest, and then try to slowly get back to it. So that's bothersome in itself, trying to find a combination of what I can and cannot do to be healthy. Also, that also adds to the migraines, right? And having all this and still having to deal with regular life stuff, like being at work for how long I be at work, and the assignment changing to this and doing that and do this. Can you look at this? Can you look at that? Just out of the blue, just everything is just out of order and it's chaotic to, dealing with the boys and just already as usual, just stressed. I know it's life. Like I don't want to. I hope this doesn't again sound like complaining. This is my mental health check, right? At every corner this week, it was a distraction. At every turn, it was a distraction. Whether it, like I said, whether it was the physical pain, the spiritual, the energy, like it just was off. It's just off. And even though I feel how I feel, in the back of my mind, like it's peace. In the back of my mind, it's laughter. In the back of my mind, it's understanding, right? Because I'm old enough to know that the harder the obstacle, when it gets super, super difficult and you fighting, right? And every issue that's coming your way, whether it's an issue you created yourself or an issue somebody brought to you, and you're fighting through it, right? It's so you're annoyed because it's like, man, I got to do this again. Man, I got to do that again. But as hard as that is as good as the overcoming is going to be, right? And so in the back of my mind, I know that triggers higher anxiety because it's like I know the steady road is coming. I know it. It has to because I offer too much positive energy to the universe. I give of myself so freely from peace, never wanting anything in return, right? So in my mind, if the universe requires balance, I have to I have to get back positive for what is taken from me in the negative. As long as I keep fighting towards it, right? I could receive the negative, and that's one thing about me is that I don't sit in negative. I refuse to sit in the negative, and it annoys people sometimes. But it's just me. Like, okay, I see the bad thing that happened, right? Like, okay, I know when I work out, it's going to hurt after, but I also know while I'm working out, it feels amazing. In order for me to get better, I have to deal with the pain. I said last week. It's unfortunate. I hate it that that's how the universe is. Is that pain is the trigger for everything, whether it's emotional or physical. That's the trigger for you to like you can be in a relationship that in your mind is good, but reality is stagnant. There's no progression, and you don't know where it's going, but you're there because you're comfortable. You can be in a job that it's like I'm really good at this, but then it's like, am I comfortable here? Like, why am I not attempting to? You're comfortable, right? And it'll take something like it'll take maybe a bill being late. It'll take maybe you know something happening to one of your vehicles, you having to fix the AC unit or something, or in a relationship, it could be a little thing like, oh, you left your shoes right there and I tripped over it, and then boom, that thing has escalated you to the next level because the pain and annoyance of it has increased to a level that you cannot control. And that's where I was at this week. Like, everything is, I feel it pushing me, right? I feel it pushing me to the next thing, but in the back of my mind, it's like, or in reality, it's frustration. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm frustrated because I like, as a man, I'm a fix the problem. I'm gonna figure out the issue. I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure that it's done the best way that I can. But it doesn't. it doesn't change how I feel. It doesn't change the fact that it's frustrating. It doesn't change the fact that it hurts. But for me, I try not to sit there, sit in that. So it's a cycle that we all go through. I know I'm not alone in trying not to sit in the negative, and I also know I'm not alone in people who are more positive having that moment to where it's like, man, fuck this. Like I'm certain that some of the most people that you feel like are positive, like they never frown, they never complain. I'm certain that there are days that they be sitting at the crib like, man, I'm about to get this shit up. The positive stuff is not working because unfortunately, yet again, that release of anger, that release of pain, it feels amazing. But it causes so much more in the long run, right? I'm a person that I'll rather spend my time fixing me than hurting somebody else. So that's why a lot of times I don't say nothing. I stay in silence when people is acting crazy towards me. I stay in silence when people do me wrong or whatever. I stay in silence. It's not worth it for me to tell somebody else what you did to me. That's not gonna fix it. And if I don't have an opportunity to fix it, it's no reason for me to talk about it in general. It's no need to have a conversation. It's no need for me to even worry about it if I can't fix it. So for me, I'm like, yeah, that hurt, but what did I get from that? What lesson did I get from that? You see what I'm saying? I always say my responses are predicated on if I ever want to have a conversation with you again. I never just go off and disrespect people. I never just go out because it's for what? I've lived long enough at this point to understand that I rather have peace than anything. Like this whole week I've been so just mixed up because when that dam broke last week, like I speak for me. I'm coming from my experiences, and when I said last week that dam has to break for you to renew and for you to rebuild, like I'm telling you, all week I've just been on one. All week I've been on one because one, I had like I felt my nerves like, and when I say nerves, I don't mean like, oh, you get on my nerves. Like I have a real nerve issue, right? And when it kicks in, it's one of the most painful things I think I've ever experienced. And so I was annoyed because I'm like, man, like I don't want to not work out. And it's not like I'm like because it's not as if I'm doing crazy stuff. Like I'm really pacing myself to make sure that I don't overdo it because I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm not trying to be, a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to get healthy. If a six pack come with that, cool. But I just want my body to feel good. I want my heart to beat regular. I want to be able to, breathe properly and stuff like that. And since I had COVID last year, it messes with my mental anytime I feel any type of ailment. Like I don't like I've been shot at, I've been stabbed, I've been fought, I've been jumped, all of that stuff, and none of that was more scarier than feeling like it was it for me when I had COVID. None of it. And so this week is crazy because everything start flowing out. Everything. Like everything that I've been holding in that people have said to me, ways that I've been treated, ways that I've been disrespected, just recalling how I've called out for help in whatever kind of way and it's not received, even from the business stand, like everything just started coming out, and I was like, man, all right, time to rebuild, time to rebuild. I'm not a person like I don't hold grudges, right? I just don't. I remember when certain things are done to me, but I don't treat people. I don't treat. It is what it is. That was then. This is now. But if I see the same behavior, my mind is gonna be like, "Oh crap, you did that before." And as the like I said, the water is the emotions, the energy, the spirit, whatever. As the water's coming out of me, and it's like things are flashing and like flashing through my mind, and I'm like, I got to do better for me, right? The reservoir filled up so much because I'm not doing the proper release. I'm dealing with my issue plus whoever issue issue it is that gave to me. My mind is not that strong no more. I have too much of me that is on the back burner mentally. As hard as I go on these sessions to express myself to you guys and hopefully open it up to where you guys aren't afraid to express yourself with your loved ones, if you have a circle that you trust, that you open up and and do that with, whether adult, teenage, whether whatever gender, whatever race, whoever listens to this podcast. I hope that me opening up the way that I do, it allows you to go talk to someone, whether like if it's therapy or if it's your folks. But I know for me, as I'm going through this transition, like I've been telling my boy DW, I've been telling my girl Tati, like, yo, for whatever reason, approaching 40 has me thinking different and feeling different. I feel like I found out like just recently who I wanted to be. Like I found out what I'm sincerely willing to tolerate and what I'm not. I found out how I want to move in my business. I found like it's just certain things that I'm paying attention to a little bit differently. And the last time I felt like this was my midlife crisis, right? Once I had a when I had my stroke, when I had a stroke, I was 26. After that, like I had a midlife crisis, and I just was just running like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to figure stuff out. And I sincerely just start going on this journey of just trying to figure out how I wanted to maneuver through life. At that time I had one kid and one on the way. Um, and I like my relationship with my wife at the time was extremely rough, but again, that's part of the reservoir because I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying anything. I'm just letting everything get dumped in the reservoir, and I'm dealing with it and I'm processing because I'm like, nah, I'm not the divorce guy. Like this is what I wanted. I wanted to be married, and I got to figure it out and stuff like that. But you get to a point to where it's like I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out, and you keep on just going, and you are the only one trying to figure it out at the level that you are in your friendships and your job and your relationships. Even with parenting, it's like no. If I have to interact with you, right, and I'm responsible for interacting with you, you have to give effort too. I know it's not going to be the same. I know it's not. But you got to give it too. And if you don't, I have to be strong enough to be like, all right, you don't want this for real. I can't care what everybody says. I can't care what anybody thinks. And in last week, all of that stuff, it just hit me with everything. Like I know we on episode 71, and the goal of these sessions is to improve every session. It's to improve who we are every session, to strengthen our accountability, to strengthen the defense for ourselves, to strengthen the way that we communicate, to unlock that fear that we have to communicate and be honest and say, I'm not okay. Not okay. Like people often ask, like, how can I help you? I don't, if I knew how to help me, I wouldn't need help. And it's offensive to people because it makes it like you feel like you're better than them. You feel like you perfect. No, if I knew how you could help me, I would. That's why I have this podcast. Because me having these sessions and me being open and me saying hit me up on Poetic Properties, on Twitter, Poetic Properties Podcast, on IG, me saying, follow me on Good Pod because you can leave something right there. We can converse. Me saying I'm doing that so that eventually we gonna find out what's wrong. I'm not trying to use that as an opportunity to dump on y'all. I'm using that as an opportunity to communicate. I'm using that to for us all to figure it out. I'm not afraid when oh, he crazy. All right, cool, I'm crazy. Yeah, there's something wrong. Yes. It's something been wrong for a long while. The problem is now that I'm an adult and I'm in control of my myself, like I know what it is. I wish I knew how to cure it. I wish it was a cure, right? I bring this up often because it's like I need to beat this in y'all head so that y'all don't do this to your kids. Quit telling your kids they not sad, or quit telling them they're just sad and not depressed. Really look into it. It's so many kids that I've seen kill themselves just over the past few years from being bullied, from being depressed, from having horrible anxiety in kids. I'm talking 9, 10, 12. Because we're not taking it seriously as adults. And the reason why is because again, that's how we were taught. We were taught no, you're just sad. Oh, that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, you're gonna get your typical situation where it's like, yo, that's kid stuff. But it's our job to make sure that they don't grow up like us, and they don't grow up to be afraid to speak their piece. They don't grow up to be being afraid to say, "Hey, something's wrong. I feel different." You don't want them to hold all that stuff in like you had to do. I know a lot of people in my age group that still haven't dealt with childhood trauma and are still passing on things to their kids. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm saying that I recognize it. I'm saying that when I feel like it's just something like super crazy, like I talked to the kid, yo, bro, look, this how it was when I was raised. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Let's Google it together. Let's figure it out together. But all of that hit me. All of that hit me at once. All of it. And I've been trying to because I've been so focused on trying to heal from Kennedy. I've been so focused on trying to understand the situation with Imani. I've been so focused on trying to raise my sons and make sure that they don't I've been so focused on everything. And the only thing that I've been doing is pulling my accountability from situations. But I learned the hard way that that's not dealing with it. Just because I understand where I was wrong and where I was right, that's not healing nothing. It's not healing anything. But I know for me, a good cry, a good, like a good, like I mean, like oh, like a one of them type cries, and a good writing session, it'll help. It'll really help me be able to process things. Right. This week, I started the new spoken word album. I felt good. I feel good. Right. I feel like this is always my jump back into reality is when I begin to write about it, when I begin to have strength enough to recite it, whether it's pain or love or hurt or discomfort or stress. That's when I feel like, all right, we got to see what type of time, what this next chapter is. We got to see what it's hitting for. And I struggled all week. I struggled all week with just being. I didn't have any dark thoughts or anything like that, but I struggled for the simple fact that the pain is real. Like the pain, the I understand that I understand that it was necessary for the dam to break. It's always necessary. Like you can repair it how many ever times you can clean a reservoir how many ever times, but it'll never be in its purest forms until it's brand new. As much as those memories, as much as those experiences, as much as those thoughts hurt me, it was imperative for me to release them. And I let them all this week. I let them come. I let them be. It was no suppressing. It was no, oh, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to. No, it was full on. Here we go. It created so much physical stress on my body. I'm not even going to hold you, but I kept going through it. I told you I'm doing this jumping jack challenge. Um, I'm doing this jumping jack challenge to do 5,000 jumping jacks for the month of April. I use that time to get out frustration. I use that time to allow those thoughts to come through my mind and whatever it is, and I allow it to flow. I'm not taking. I'm not reliving it with whoever caused the hurt. I'm not calling nobody. I'm not saying anything to nobody because for me, closure is me letting it go. A lot of times when you are in that space of just letting stuff go, people want to remind you. I get to a point to where it doesn't matter how much you remind me of a certain thing. It don't matter. Right now I have so much stuff to do. Like if I could really explain how much stuff released this week that created so much chaos, but also created so much peace in the back of my mind. If I could just, if I, fam, it's important that we are aware of where we are at as it pertains to our growth as human beings. I'm talking people who have high temperaments, low patience. It's important that you give yourself credit for the things you didn't do, for the ways you didn't respond. This is not a I'm a victim situation or woe is me type thing. This is just me letting it all out. People have done some really cruel things to me, and people have said some really cruel things about me, and people have treated me very, very cruelly. I don't hold no grudge. You did what you did in that time. That's who you were. It is what it is. I may not ever speak to you again. I mean, I don't. When I say speak to, I mean on a day to day basis. When I even if I see you in passing, oh hey, what's up? But as far as detailed conversation, giving you emotions, or catching up to that level, can't do it because it's not beneficial to where I'm trying to go. It doesn't help me get there. It's exhausting because once the dam is broken, it got to be empty before you can fix it. And so I'm in that space right now to where it's things that are happening, things that are coming back to my mind and coming back to my remembrance. Like I got to deal with that. I gotta feel that feeling finally. All that anger I have towards myself because I allowed this, and I gotta feel that. See what people don't deal with, in what I'm learning, right? What I'm learning is that we deal with what was done to us, but we never deal with why we let it be done. We never deal with getting on ourselves. We never deal with, all right, if you in this situation again, this is how you got to do it. Because we get blinded by emotions, we get blinded by gifts, we get blinded by lies, we get blinded by that. Like, I wish I could go back in time to when society turned black men against black women and black women against black men. I wish I could go back in time and stop that. Because every time I look up, there's a battle of the sexes going on. And men ain't shit and women ain't shit. And if you say, if it don't apply to you, don't jump in it. Even if I say all men, even if I say all women, and nobody wants to stop. I'm one person. I'm not better than nobody, but I have reason. I have 100% reason, just like other people have reason to talk bad or to say some disparaging comments about women. Just like women have that right to say about men. They've been through it. It's their experience, right? What good does it do? Like, honestly, what good does it do? I'm Before, for y'all who listen, before y'all think this, I'm not talking about when you are being abused physically, mentally, or emotionally. That's a different story. Speak up. But I'm talking about the generic things. I'm talking about the tit for tats that we go through. I'm talking about the, oh, you don't like dark skinned men or light skinned men, or you don't like dark skinned women, or light skinned women, or big women, or little women, or fat men, or like what? Come on. At what point do we see that and understand that that behavior we're passing on to the people that's coming up after us? Again, I'm not saying that everybody gotta get along, or you don't have the right to uh, you don't have the right to be mad, or you don't have the right to speak up. But as a society, it is so out of control. And I don't speak on others. I'm talking about I'm talking about the space that I belong in. I see so many men and women, but like, you can't say all. And then you have these alpha podcasts that are, for whatever reason, like, they're increasing by the numbers. And it's always, oh, you're thinking like the white man if you don't agree with them, and they want submissiveness, and they want this, and they want that, and then you have the flip side. You have the women podcast, and a man got to pay all of my bills and do this and do that, and it don't matter. And it's like, fam, why? Again, I know this not all women. I know this not all men, but it's enough on both sides. The issue is or the thing that bothers me as a black man is that the it's more of the all men, all women people than it is of the not all people. And in a perfect world, that would be opposite, right? There would be enough people that are calling out their friends, their brothers, their sisters, whoever. They're calling them out when they're doing things that are violating even in same sex situations. In a perfect world, you would be checking your people. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world that is already against us, and we are against each other. That don't make no sense. And I'm typically able to like not even think about it. Like it's crazy because I typically like I see it often, but in my mind I'm like, bruh, ain't nobody listening to me. But that's why we get in a position of all men. It's the same thing that people say about the police. If you see this as incorrect, why are you not saying nothing? Why, like, if you have a platform, why are you not saying nothing on the positive? I could care less about anybody ever calling me a pick me or whatever because I'm a hoe and I don't care. So I don't want anybody to pick me. I want everybody to pick me if that's the case. But I wasn't saying anything because I wasn't. This podcast is about mental health in general. And up until last week, I never really felt affected by it. But it hit me last week like, bro, what? Like, it's a lot of y'all that if y'all stop, it's a lot of us that if we just stop and stand still in this moment in time and check our friends and check our siblings and our cousins and that we can start to rebuild. Some of us are so far gone because we've been disrespected, we've been hurt, and we've been in the same scenario over and over and over to that makes us say men ain't this, women ain't that, right? Again, I hear you. I'm not here for that. Why are you going back to that same type of woman? Why are you going back to that same type of man? Why are you going back to that same type of job? Why you keep making that same type of deal? That's what you attracted to. That's what you are comfortable with. So when you began to complain about all men ain't this, no, it's those line of men that you chose. Those are similar. They have similar traits that you like. And what happens is we overlook stuff. Same thing with men. This is why I personally, me, I don't care about your body like that. I don't care if you big, little, short, or I don't care, right? Because I want to know who you are. I want to know. I don't like. I don't want a carbon copy of the next person, right? So I'm not looking for, oh, you super fine. Oh, you got big titties. Oh, you got big. Like, if we click, we click. If you happen to be like an ex, or if you happen to give me an experience that I've experienced before, I got to take that over me. I'm not gonna get on social media and say, "Oh, all BBWs are mean. They think they goddesses." Because you got a bad attitude or you are spoiled because of your upbringing or whatever. I'm not gonna get all light skinned women or gold diggers. Yeah, like what? Nah, this one right here is wild for this. I'm not even going to get on social media to say that because at the end of the day, is why you allowed that? It started messing with my mental, right? I say it on I said it on one of the poems. I said it on the podcast. I'm not pro anything except fuck with me and see. Meaning that I believe in what I believe in, but I'm not above being corrected for or corrected or offered another idea to add to what I believe in or to add to what I think. It's certain things that my mind cannot be changed on. You can add to it, but my mind will not be changed. But it takes me going through things and understanding, oh, it's on me. All right, when I was younger, right? Every person that I ended up being in a relationship, I mean, every single woman or teenager, whatever, however you want to classify it, they had an issue with their family and or parents, right? I always like, and I'm talking from teenager to junior college. I, I'm not the one. I'm not trying to take you from your family or nothing like that. Like, this is what I see the issue is, and blah blah blah. Once they fix that issue or get strength enough to stand up for themselves or whatever, the relationship be over. And when I was younger, I was like, dang, like that's crazy. Like we just broke up. Like nothing even really happened. Like it was cool. But then when I started really realizing, like, oh shit, I really have a, I really attract women who have family issues. Excuse me. And so for me, I didn't say all these women got family issues. I was like, damn, like I got to figure out how to see this sooner for one, but more importantly, maybe I'm in the wrong line of work. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to get in relationships and when I feel like it's shifting to a relationship, I should remain in that friend space like, yo, nah, you I see something right here. Like you're attracted to me because of how I stop and understand and how I see things. But as a young man, of course, yeah, you know what type of time I'm on. I'm a natural protector of other people. I haven't dealt with the protector of me before. Because in my mind, my partner protect me, I protect everything else. Like I'm a firm believer of, yeah, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck that keeps everything moving. Because if I'm no good, and again, I know we're in 2022, partner. The partner is the one that keep everything moving. Because if I'm no good and my assignment is the head of the household to protect and provide, but I'm no good and I have nobody making sure that I'm good, the role's gonna change. The crown gonna get a little bit more heavier than it should. That's gonna create chaos. And that's gonna create confusion. But all of that hit me. It came out, and I was like, man, like I wish my people would understand. Like it's love there. It's love there. I wish my guys would understand. They don't. The women not feeling safe. I wish my women would understand that there's so many men out there that would be willing to protect you on a friendship level, like, but you're hard on them. We can't change every man at the same time, just like y'all, like the homegirls can't change y'all at one time. I understand that, but somebody got to be wanting to work. Somebody got to want to believe that it's us against everything. It's us like I've tried year after year after year after year to say no, like the world is not what I'm seeing. Like it can't be this. But I'm understanding. I'm understanding now. Like at the first level is us against everything. And the more that society, the more that social media the more that more that artists keep on niggas ain't shit, bitches ain't shit, like the more we keep that going without having real conversations, the further apart we're going to be in a fight that we are needed. And I'm not talking about needed uh for repopulating generations, repopulating for generations to come. I'm talking about it's needed now. Like friendship, like comfort, peace, not just sexual. We are free to date and communicate who we want to. But it's so much divide that it hit me like, yo, like I really can't believe like every other post on whatever social media you go to. It's either an alpha male podcast talking crazy about women. It's women posting uh, from an experience that they had and they're applying it to all. Um, it's crazy. And I personally, like, I look back because, like, I was one of the guys, like, I never respond or I don't be arguing with nobody, especially online. But I see certain things and mentally I was the guy, like, but I never done that before. But then I had this thought, like, but do I know people who done that before? And what did I say about it? Just like, I have homegirls that, um, just like I have homegirls that are considered to be a part of a certain group that I know them and they never done that before. They never treated a person like that before. But they have to deal with, you know, whatever the stereotype is. And we all have to deal with whatever type of, but for me, I'm tired. I'm tired of not speaking about it. I'm tired of acting like it's not happening. I'm tired of acting like it don't mess with my mental. It's scary for me to be a black man trying to date, trying to get a executive type job, being at the grocery store. It's a fear that I have because of what's going on in the world. I know I sit here and y'all. I know y'all probably think I'm playing like, oh, well, when I say like I'm a hoe, I'm with whatever with whoever as long as you clean. I say that because the experiences that I've had trying to have one partner, the experience that I've had to go through and try to earn these connections and stuff like that. What was done behind the scenes of that. So for me, it's like I can't connect how I want to connect anymore because it's a fear that you're going to use me like the last person did. I transitioned from being used as a source of therapy to being used as a source of finance, to be used as a source of fun. Each time that I'm like, all right, nothing's being reciprocated, or hey, this is how I feel, that relationship is over. But I don't go and I don't target that person. I don't see situations and put that person's name out there. I don't see things and be like all women this or this, that, and the other. I don't put it nowhere, to be honest. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, you should have saw that earlier. You should have paid attention to that. It's so much stuff that we are losing out on. Like we don't support each other for real. Even in business, I make sure that I make sure that before I look for anything, before I go to Walmart, before I go to Target, before I do anything, I make sure that I look to see if I can find it for from a black owned business. I make sure of it. My homegirl Lamisha make all of my anklets, all of my bracelets, her styles, Love Biz, all my head wraps come from. Hold on, because I'm like, no, I gotta tell y'all because I want y'all to I want y'all to check them out, and I want y'all to check them out, and I want y'all to be able to understand what I mean. Now it want to be Wait, I'm on the wrong page. That's why. But I go out of my way to find out. I go out of my way to find out if I can get it with a black owned business. Not only because I have a business and I lack support from, from overall, right? But this is a perfect example. I'm going to link the three companies that I get my head wraps from, I get my anklets and bracelets from, and then I just now am on my lip scrubs. I'll link them. I go out of my way to do that because it's so many people on social media begging for support from the community. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not nothing like that. I have three people, because I have three people that are VIPs. One of the three, DW, of course, he's super super VIP. Like, I don't know if like, I know he likes what the company offers as a whole, but he supports. Even if I wanted to quit, he supports too much. If like he's my only, like if he was my only customer, I would still do it. That's how much he supports. Tati, that's how much they support. So I can't, like, I'm not worried about, like, of course, when you're in business, you want it to grow. You want your people to see you and identify you and be like, he's solid, she's solid, boom, boom, boom. But sometimes it takes a while to reach the masses. So you have, if it was just Tati and DW, I would still be in business. That's how much that they support. And that's how I do my people. Rather, like I said, the reason why I'm pointing out the reason why I'm pointing out my anklets, my bracelets, my head wraps, and my lip scrub, because those are things that I have a lot of. I have more than one of. Like, I've reached out to them and got more than one item because that's who I rep, right? Besides myself. So DW and Tati, they're an example of, I'm gonna support my folks. I know they like it, but I see this man working time after time, giving his all, giving this and stuff like that. It hit me when all this stuff start flowing. At this point, I'm making stuff for Tati and DW. I don't care, because when it get big, and when I say when it get big, and now I'm like, all right, yo, because y'all was able to keep supporting me and keep me encouraged, and now this is a million, 2 million. Now we out there as a full company. What's up? We here. Y'all trying to be on the board? What? We getting this money together or what? It's little stuff like that we need from each other. It's little things that you never know. A person could be about to quit. They could be at their last, they wits end of, I'm about to give up on everything. And your interactions what made them what they are. And what I mean by that is that made them not give up. That made them continue to go. That made them, like, you never know what that interaction does, especially when it comes from your people. I'm like, I love everybody. Like, I trust me. Like, if you know me, I've dated every race, ethnicity that you could think of. I don't discriminate by anybody, but or towards anybody. But I gotta let the song cry, and I gotta speak from my people. You see what I'm saying? I sit here and I say, hey, I do this podcast to hopefully, y'all hear this and y'all and going through certain things and you're able to speak up and speak out to help yourself and everything. Once you get to that point, you got to help somebody else. And I'm not saying I'm not saying you have to help somebody else in a sense to where it puts you in a deficit. I'm saying if you see somebody working hard, if you see somebody, doing their thing and like support them. Support is not always money. Support is sometimes, yo, I see you. You killing it. Keep going. In today's world, support is a retweet. I had a conversation the other day, and I made a statement that we don't need assistance, we need discipline. I'm not looking for assistance when I'm dealing with my people. I'm not looking for you to give me a deal. I'm not looking for a discount code. Because you discipline, I want to support you at full cost. I have a policy for my brand, right? Once you spend a certain amount, and once you show a certain level of respect, I have to compensate you the best way that I can because you're doing something that you don't have to, right? You are giving me your time, you are giving me your moral support, and you are giving me your money, right? And you don't have to. So I'm gonna give you something, whatever. I'm gonna give you something of value from what I got going on. It's so much stuff that I see, it didn't bother me up until a week ago, or it didn't bother me enough to a week ago to say anything. Like this is years and years and years and years of the decades, centuries. Who's going to stop it? Who's going to be tired of crying and pointing finger? Who going to say, look, I got fault in this too? And then have the conversation. I love black women. I love black women. Period. But society makes it so hard for them of any tone, of any melanin level. They've been back into a wall to where now they have to feel like they got to be the providers and the protectors. Nah, we equal. I don't care how you slice it. We're equal. My responsibility as a family, or my responsibility in a family, are different from your responsibilities in a family. Both of them are equally important. If I'm paying mortgage and you not paying the utilities, what use we have for that if we can't cook, clean, do nothing? If you paying the utilities, but I'm not paying the mortgage, you giving light to somebody else. So at some point we got to stop this. I'm better than you. I'm stronger than you. I do this that better than you. Yeah, you do. 100% I might be stronger than you. But I'm 200%. There's millions of people that are women that are way stronger than me. There are women that are way smarter than me. There are women that make more money than me. And that's fine. Because what you bring to the table is not what I'm bringing to the table. What makes me cry don't make you cry. What gives you joy don't bring me joy. So at some point we have to come to this stalemate of, yo, I got you. And it be that. Like it could be all so simple. But somebody has to want to step in and be like, all right, fam, stop. Heal from your experience. Yes, those 10 men did the same exact thing to you, but you attracted them and you kept them. Yes, those 10 women had the same attitude, had the same way that they kept house, had the same way, but you kept attracting them, my guy. My boy Matt could tell you, I never cared what not near woman looked like to anybody else because it's perspective. Yeah, you wouldn't date her, she too dark. Oh, you wouldn't date her, she too light. You don't know the conversations that we have. You don't know the things that we got to go through together. You don't know the personal things that we helping each other with. You have no idea. Some point somebody got to be like, "Yo, this enough." Some point they have to. It's so much going on. Like it's starting to get exhausting seeing this battle of the sexes between my people. It's exhausting waking up. This person dead because of this. This part, like it's exhausting death. That like day after day of death. It's exhausting. It's so much going on in the world. There's so much natural death going on. Why are we putting death in fast forward? Why? Every time I like literally every time, every other day, if not every day, it's the same scenario of a cop killing a black person. It's another scenario of 20 people died because somebody got mad and shot the party up. It's another scenario of domestic violence, um, both ways, every day. And it's always, well, black men, blah, 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 black women, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, stop. We need to heal ourselves. We need to stop blaming people for doing certain things. Yeah, the first time, yeah, all right, you tripping. Why you did that? Everybody's so concerned about being super rich. Everybody's supposed to be. Everybody's so concerned about looking a certain way. Fam, that's how you die quickly. Stop worrying about all that shit. At some point, we gotta just say it's not even worth it. All right, cool. You don't prove yourself. You don't prove that you're not a punk by killing people. You don't prove that you're not a punk by getting over on people. I saw something the other day. This nigga said, and I'm sorry because that really it made me mad. I saw something the other day where someone said they made almost $1 million off of a product that they never created. I'm pausing so that I can register to you. If I have to scam you, if I have to do you wrong, if I have to disrespect you in any way to become a millionaire, I won't. I can't do it. Like I'm being like I'm being for real open on this one. I can't do it. I know that sounds crazy because you're supposed to be able to get to the bag, and that's supposed to be all that you're worried about. Being rich, creating generational wealth, and all that. But it's difficult for me because I'm trying to work on the positive part of me, and I just don't feel right scamming people. I just I don't. And I know that makes me seem crazy. I know, people listen to this that are in business and they'll be like, yo, like, that's what we do. And it's like, no, like, it's so much. It's already between black women and black men. It's so much irritation. It's so much stereotypical behavior that happens and nobody's stopping. It's so much domestic violence. It's so much killing each other. It's so much of all of this. Yeah, other races they do all that. But I'm not in there. I don't. That's not my business. What my business is making sure that we have a united front and a strong enough front that we are able to defend when, like, if I'm out by myself and I'm the only black person, another black person and vice versa should feel comfortable enough to be like, "You good?" Not because it's a threat, but because, bro, you good, sis, you straight. So we'll have that awareness to get through whatever we get in through. Again, you more than welcome to, and I don't want to say it like I have control over it, but love who you love, be friends with who you be friends with, but don't disrespect your people for that. Because we're going through it enough already. We have so much to fight. A lot of us, we have this internal fight with our partners at home. We have this fight with our kids at home. And it's like, fam, if I'm fighting everybody in the world and fighting everybody in my house, how? What am I how? I'm not saying you kiss people ass and all of that, but fam, y'all not tired? Y'all not tired? I'm when I say I'm tired of seeing it, I'm tired of feeling it. I'm tired of just like it's an overwhelming feeling of who's next. Who's next? I'm at the point now to where like I I'll block any type of negativity that, like, I don't even entertain it. If you like I said this a while ago, stop entertaining that bullshit. There is a level there is a certain amount of being problematic that is healthy. That is healthy. But to a certain level, we have to stop it. We have to. There's a certain at a certain time we have to say, all right, enough is enough. I don't like putting the guns down. I'm gonna use them for what they're supposed to be used for, which is defending my home. Otherwise, if an altercation get to a certain point and something needs to happen, we're gonna duke it out like back in the day. When I have a problem with my significant other, with my friend, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say all. I'm not gonna just blame them. I'm gonna say, but you allowed it. A lot of times people are doing stuff because you allowed it, not because any other reason. Because like I know it sounds crazy, but somebody could be doing something to you for real, and because the way that they were raised, they don't think that it's wrong. So if nobody has ever told them, now you're in front of them and they're doing it to you and you never told them, but then you were like, all right, I gotta get away from you. But you never told them, of course they gonna go and do that to the next person. And I'm not talking about, once you're at an emotional, fuck this, I hate you, get it, not at that level. I'm willing to risk everything to tell you when you hurt me now. And I'm willing to when I say that, I mean you hurt me, I don't ever want to talk to you again. I'm at that level and feel nothing about it. Because we have to be able to do that. We have to be able to course correct, or else our their kids, gonna be fighting the same exact battles that we keep having to fight. We are in a generation right now where the fear is not at, like when I say the fear is not at all what it used to be. I don't understand how we are still having these same stereotypical conversations. I don't understand why we're having these same killing after killing after I don't understand it, because we not the generation of fear. It's hell yeah, it's a very difficult hill to climb. But our ancestors fought when they knew the consequence was death. They tried to hold it together when they knew the consequence would. They stood and fought with people, and while their spouses got killed, and they still kept fighting for that. And here we are caught in this dilemma of all women do this, all men do that, black people this, black, like we don't want to support each other fully. It's only for the moment. We're in this thing where 1 month, mental health care for black people is the hot topic. The next, it's just complete chaos. At some point, we have to take that first step to the second step. And instead of going steps back, we just have to stand still on that second step. It don't matter if standing on that second step gets repetitive, and we got to stand there for year after year. I'd rather take a stance on that second step than go back 10. And I feel like every day we're going back. We're putting ourselves back in a deficit. Yes, the world is against us. I know they act oblivious. The world acts oblivious to what is done daily to black people. Again, there are other people in other cultures who may feel the same thing. This ain't their podcast. It's mine, and I'm black. I want somebody from every culture to feel how I feel, but I want them to speak up for how they feel. For me, that's how I feel. At some point, it got to stop. Accountability of ourselves is important. If we can all get to that point to where we are genuinely holding ourselves accountable for our wrongs and holding ourselves accountable for what we allowed to happen to us, it'll be so much better. It'll be so much better. But for whatever reason, society has us believing that we have to fight each other. Society has us believe if you sell clothes and I sell clothes, I can't support you. If you play basketball and I play basketball, we can't train together. Cause you're gonna get my spot on the team. I'm not gonna tell you the new trick that I learned, because if you learn it, then you might do it better. Then they might take you like, huh? Business and corporate America is the way it is because of lack of support. Everything was built on negativity. Everything was built on being shisty. I go back to I was looking for the tracksuits, right? I was looking for the tracksuits. And I was asking people who were completely outside of my, I guess, niche, right? Because mine is, I do mental health. I write poetry. The poetry is not based on the poetry is not based on mental health per se. It is based on real life experiences that I've witnessed and or been through myself, or just things that like a regular artist, like or a regular author. You see things like, oh, okay, but I make sure that my poems are informative or healing based, right? And I just wanted, some sweatsuits because I have an athleisure brand. I just wanted some sweatsuits to just put my logo on. Nothing serious. And I reached out to people who already had brands and stuff like that. And yeah, I get it. You want to hold some secrets and stuff like that. But do you know that no one, and I reached out to black people, not one person helped me. Either they wanted to charge me $800 or $500. It was crazy. And I get it. Oh well, vendor list this, vendor list that, and it's expensive, and you don't want this, and you don't. And it's like, why? Like, why you don't want that? There's a Walmart within miles of Target, within miles of grocery stores. Walmart and Target now sells groceries. There's a fast food burger place every other corner within walking distance. There's liquor stores and gas stations on every corner for about, you know 3-4 miles at a time. A lot of times there's three gas stations on each block. There's department stores that sell um, Michael Kors and Chanel right next to each other. There's shoe stores that sell Adidas and Nikes and Vans. Let that sink in. But society has taught us that we can't help each other build a brand together. We can't help like you. We can't help each other find what we need to build a brand. I gotta charge you a crazy amount of money for you to assist me when you could just be like, yo, here it is. I'm not asking you to do the work for me. I'm not asking you to design. I'm not asking you to make the meetings. I'm not asking you to do any of that. It's where did you go to get your tracksuits? Like, really think about that. Really think about how competitive, uncompetitive things have gotten in our society. It's an ongoing thing that the world right now, it's just a space for people to disagree. And a lot of times the disagreement is not even to the point that was made. The disagreement is something super crazy. Like, you can say you like a certain color and somebody will be like, well, it ain't better than this. And it's like, no, I just was saying I tried on a lime green hat and I didn't like it. Well, that's because you didn't try lime green with a hint of yellow. Like, huh? What? Why would I do that? Like, why? At some point, somebody has to. Like, I'm at the point of everything is coming out of me. So when I'm seeing things that annoy me, when I see things that bother me, when I see things like that affected me this week. Like, seeing the disrespect between black men and black women, these alpha podcasts, like, they really bother me, because it's always something like that super outdated. Even the young ones, it's always super outdated or super barbaric. Like, and this is why I have a frustration, and I don't deal with people who are overly pro anything. I just don't, because there has to be a level of All right, this is how I feel, and this is what I believe in. Do you have something to add to that? Like, stop trying to persuade me. I don't want you to be persuasive. I don't want you. That's why we are where we are, because there's no truth. It's always conniving. It's always sneaky. It's never straight on. Yo, this is what it is. This is how I feel. Or, hey, I understand this is how you feel about that. Let me add this. Let me add this context. I always say I don't care about other people's perspective about things that I've already had my mind set on, but I will accept the context to add to it. I had to let it cry this week. I had to because it was eating at me, and I didn't realize how much it was eating at me. I didn't realize how much the fight of people that I have no idea who they are. I didn't realize how much it affected me seeing black people fight each other in relationships, in custody battles with their kids, fighting in general, men and men, women and women, every like I didn't realize how much it affected me, a person who typically I don't really be caring about a lot of stuff, but the fact that it's been openly 3 years of death, and I'm talking two, three, four, five, six, like just car accident, shooting each other, police shooting, domestic, like it's, huh? We already all got targets on our back. When we gonna act right? And not right with societal standards. When we gonna act right to us, to what we think is right? When we gonna do that? When we gonna believe that we are powerful enough to change the world? We can do it. We can do it. But we got to get out our way. We got to remove this. We got to remove this fake war we got against each other. Like, we really got to sit down and go to the root of everything and just let that shit go. Let it out. Y'all, a lot of y'all violent and mean and mad because y'all don't cry. A lot of us go through this because we refuse to hold accountability, refuse to believe that we were stupid in a situation and we allowed people to do what they wanted to do to us. We allowed that shit. Yeah, we did. We did. If you can fix your mouth to say all men, all women, all this, all that, and mean that with your whole chest, you gotta hold that L. Because you allowed them to do that to you. You allowed it. Instead of following your girl and harassing her and doing stupid shit, sit down with yourself like, dang, I allowed, like, I'm bugging. I allowed her to push me there. Instead of busting out windows, instead of, trying to fight the next girl, or instead of doing, destructive stuff, I allowed that. I know I've been there. That shit hurt. It hurt when you realize how fucking dumb you've been. It hurt. But just as hard as you going on the person for hurting you, go, like, sit down with yourself. It's certain things that I sit down, I'm like, yo, I saw that. I saw that shit and didn't believe it for myself. Allow myself to be traumatized, but for me, the lucky thing, I was raised, like, as far as society goes, I like to not really be fucking with it like that. I have a very high belief in myself. I have a very strong accountability level in myself that I had to build to. right? I've always been held accountable, but by other people, and then I learned like, all right, no, because you gonna add 100 on 10. So I gotta hold myself accountable. I gotta have a safe space that I can go to and that I can be in and have a disagreement with you, but not leave that disagreement without understanding and the ability to move forward in a situation. Right now, there is no safe space for that. It's no safe space for black men and black women to have a conversation and be in disagreement and leave that space and both parties feel justified and or complete. We don't have that because it immediately turns into finger pointing and blaming. Like nobody is saying, "All right, I'll take that." Nobody's listening for real. Nobody is saying, I'll take that." And we get stuck and we have this cycle over and over and over again. And we got to stop that shit. I keep saying that it's so much darkness in the world because it is. It's so much darkness between men and women in general. But again, I'm talking for the space that I'm in. I'm tired. I'm tired of living in the darkness. I'm tired of the fights. I'm tired of the death. I'm tired of the lack of support that we give each other. I'm tired of it. So as I sit in darkness and I try to pull my accountability out and I start to understand, it gives me light and I get to it. What's going on, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. I want you guys to go over to www.peacefullyflawed.com. Shop all things Peacefully Flawed apparel. If you want a more fast and convenient way to get to it, you can download the app Peacefully. That's PCFLLY on both Android and iOS. Also, we have some spring items that we just dropped so that you can be fly and fresh on the beach. Go ahead, check it out. Again, that's www.peacefullyflawed.com or download the app Peacefully, PCFLLY. And again, thank you for tuning in to the podcast. I love you guys. Be easy.